Hi, this is Izzy Karish, owner of Hospitality Works Consulting. Today, we're going to talk about profitability. And losing money doesn't always mean that somebody's stealing. So I want to talk about it's going to be a little more technical today, so take notes. Are you ready? How do I know I'm not profitable? Well, instead of putting money in the bank, I'm taking all the money out of my savings and putting it back in the restaurant. We want to stop that. So where do we begin? We start with having a great profit and loss statement, because you're going to be able to use that profit and loss statement like a weapon, a tool to detect why you're losing money. So we'll talk about a combination of things. Some will be waste, some will be theft, and some will be just handling the product in a very poor way. So let's start at the beginning. We look at our profit and loss statement and we see that we're losing about $50,000 a year. Believe me, all is not lost. It's all controllable as long as you're ready to step up and take control. So number one, if I look at my food cost and I see that my food cost is 40 or 45% and it's supposed to be 30, where should I be looking? Well, I think the first thing I do is sit down with my kitchen manager and start to talk about, show me every recipe that we have. And if we don't have a recipe for each and every item, then we have a problem. Then let's make 10 of our dishes that are on the menu, and I want to double check to make sure that everything's being portioned correctly. You may want to start with steaks, with veal, with the chicken, anything that has a high value to it. If it isn't the portion that you expected, then there's a problem, so you'll have to reportion. The other thing in the way of kitchen food cost very often comes to waste. In my last restaurant, we found that they were cutting their own steaks, which sounds like you're going to be saving money cutting your own product. In this case, the steak was supposed to be 16 ounces, and every steak that I weighed was over 20, which means we were losing money on every single steak that we sold. In this case, it made sense to tell the vendor, please send us pre-cut steaks. It'll cost a little bit more per pound, but we will make a profit on every one that we sell. Next, and we go back to my last video where we talked about theft at the bar, let's just talk about people pouring drinks at the bar and unintentionally driving up that liquor cost. How does that happen? You have a very busy bar. And remember, in that last video we said, let's take the order, let's ring the order up, and then give the customer the drink. But on a busy day, your bartenders could get so busy, they'll continue to make drinks and make drinks and make drinks, thinking that they'll remember to go ahead and ring those drinks up. So part of this is training, making sure that they take the order, ring the order, and make the order. The other part is looking at your financials very closely. So let's start talking about labor costs. Labor costs, number one cost to restaurants today. My average customers have increased their payouts in labor by 20 and 30%. So watching our labor is very important. Make sure that your employees, if they're scheduled to come in at noon, don't punch in until noon. Very often people come and they'll punch in at a quarter till. But you have 4 or 5 people do that a day, you're paying hours on hours of labor that you shouldn't be paying for. Or another common one, I like to see this a lot, is it's the end of the day, employees are ready to go home, they go to the locker room, they get dressed, they have a cigarette, and on their way out the door, they clock out. You may want to reverse that. Clock out first, then go and do what you need to, because that's another 15 to 20 minutes per employee that will cost you a lot in the end. Then, what's the next report you should look at? I would look very closely at my void report. This is a report that many restaurants overlook. You should be doing a void report every day. I have restaurants that do $2, $3, and $5 million a year, and they don't void more than maybe $50 in a week. But I was recently with a customer, I picked up their void report, and they voided $4,000 last month. What does that mean? Well, when we went through the report, we looked at who was voiding the most tickets. We found that that person or those people were taking, all the cash, rang the orders up, serve the food, serve the liquor, but because the void key wasn't closed off to the hourly employees, anything that was cash, they went in, reopened the ticket, voided it, took the cash, and you never knew about it because, again, as in my last video talking about theft, your bank's all balanced. So control is very important. Make sure only the manager and only the owners have the right and the ability to either void a ticket or comp a ticket. So make sure that you do that, because that's where, if we're talking about theft, that's where it's going to occur. Get your restaurant under control. Use your P&L like a weapon. Know what your food cost should be. Know what your liquor cost should be, your beer cost, and your wine cost. Once you understand what they should be, then you can look at what they are, make all of those changes, and typically I'm able to turn a restaurant around in 1 month by understanding those numbers and taking that restaurant from loss to profit in 30 days. If I can do it, you can do it too. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to put your comments below if this has happened to you. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you know when our next video comes out. And hey, it won't hurt you to like my video.